Cugno, by the way, because today is International Fisherman's Day. And I said Crowder's a big fisherman. My friend Barry Coet from the Ticket Wizard, he's a big fisherman. I think Cugno might be a bigger fisherman than both of those guys. You fish all the time, right, Cugno?
Yeah, go out all the time. So today was a big. I thought when I heard I was coming on, like I was listening to the last block, and I thought this is why you were bringing me on to talk about Fisherman Day, and I was like, all right, now I get why he called me. He texted me this morning.
I love how TV people call it a block. That's sexy right there. That's sexy TV talk right there. That's not radio terminology. That's television terminology.
It's not. Can we talk about lies for a second and Solana? Because literally driving in, it is as dark as could be. It's pouring rain, lightning claps in the background, and this guy with the utmost confidence goes, "The sun is out today, brother." Like, that was the weather update we just got.
We get inundated with texts every single hour he does a weather report, and you would think, because we have Julie oh God, I mean, he is going to.
Who was that? Julie We have Julie.
The moment I said it, Cugno, I was like, oh no. Here comes the buzzard. We have Julie Durda on, and she tries to tell him to take the weather a little more seriously, certainly during hurricane season. When I tell you, it doesn't matter how many texts say you're wrong about all this stuff, he has no shame, and he comes back the next hour with more confidence in an inaccurate weather report.
I mean, but that's, you know what? But that's why we love Solana, right? Because if you're going to do it wrong, if you're going to be wrong, be big wrong. You know, just a full-throated attempt. Just go for it. Run right through the wall if you're going to do it.
But Mike, here's my problem with people criticizing my weather reports. One, if you're tuning in to WQAM for a weather report, you got bigger problems on your hand. And two, I mean, our transmitter, our radio waves, I don't even know how radio works, to be quite honest. But the way that we
radio waves,
the way that transmitter, we send radio
whatever
and audio.
You say now is.
How does radio work, Hawk? Can you describe this to me? The way people pick up audio, they're getting it from all different parts of South Florida, as deep as Monroe County, up to Palm Beach, I think. I mean, we're everywhere. How am I supposed to do accurate weather reports?
Right now, even right now, you don't sound confident in what you're doing, and that's what worries me.
How am I supposed to give accurate weather reports?
It's not that he doesn't sound confident. He just doesn't care whether it's right or wrong. That's the shocking part. He just does not care. But you love, on International Fisherman's Day, I want to talk sports, but on International Fisherman's Day, you love fishing, right? That is, what's a better weekend day for you, golf or fishing?
Fishing, because you can't get cell service in a lot of places, and so no one can really bother you. So
you like being off the grid.
I do like being off the grid. I appreciate the cell towers not being able to make it a few miles out.
And what do you fish for? What's your go-to thing?
We do, so my dad and I do a lot of inshore fishing on flats boats. Some people will understand what I'm talking about, like redfish, snook, a lot of backcountry fishing, especially like in the Everglades. A lot of that stuff, trout, stuff you could take home and eat. You know what I mean? We don't have a big boat, so we don't go offshore too often. Every once in a while, we'll venture offshore for like triple tail and stuff. And yellowtail. So yeah, we kind of do a little bit of everything.
What do you prefer to catch and eat, snook or fluke?
Snook.
All right. Yeah, I was just checking.
Yeah.
I was just checking because I enjoy fishing. I enjoy hearing fishing stories about snook. My old roommate Barry loves to fish for snook. Are you paying attention to the Marlins, Cugno? Are you paying attention to the Marlins?
Yeah, of course we're paying attention to the Marlins.
Are they the number one sports story in South Florida right now?
Yes, at the moment, but that could obviously change if Damian Lillard puts on a Heat jersey. But yes, they are. And it's kind of, it was kind of not, I don't want to say it's a shame that the Heat and Panthers went on the runs they did, but they, the Marlins obviously did get put on the back burner a little bit. But now, I mean, there's a couple things happening with the Marlins that make them an interesting team. Obviously, not only are they winning, but you've got this guy in Luis Arias who's going for something historic that makes you kind of want to tune in every day, no matter what. Because look, baseball, obviously, it's a long game. It's shorter now, but it's hard to tune in for 9 innings. But if you have something like that captures your attention, you're in it a little bit more. You're a little bit more invested. I mean, I think back to the days of like Barry Bonds going for the home run record and tuning into ESPN News because you couldn't get like the San Francisco Giant games. You tune into ESPN News to see if they'd break in to his at bats. And so with the Marlins, you're tuning in, checking in on his at bats, and then also seeing guys like Yuri Perez play well. It doesn't hurt that they're obviously winning. So there's a lot to have fun with this team.
And Jazz too. Jazz had a nice couple of games back.
Yeah, Jazz is back, and that's the other thing is that they were doing all this with Jazz hurt and Sandy not pitching his best. But I mean, his last outing, he goes 7 innings, ends up getting a win. So that, like, if Sandy's going to start tracking back towards his Cy Young numbers, his Cy Young performances, and Jazz is going to play the way he has, he had a couple hits the other day. He had a home run last night. There's even more to be interested in.
You mentioned that the Marlins might once again take the back burner, depending on NBA free agency, which starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. Although I don't think we're going to learn anything about Dame Lillard tomorrow.
No.
But I was asking Solana, like, do you think we could learn tomorrow? It's 6:02, 6:03 that Max Strus is no longer with the Heat, or that Gabe Vincent has signed with another team.
Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll probably end up hearing about those two in particular, because Strus made himself a lot of money during the playoffs. Gabe did too. I mean, those two guys on that big of a platform performing the way they did, minus a couple games here and there. They're teams need shooters, teams need point guards, and if I had to guess, I'm guessing Gabe's going to be the one that stays. But Strus definitely deserves to go get his money wherever it may be, whether it's not in Miami, maybe it's his hometown of Chicago. That obviously be great for him. It's kind of a win-win. But yeah, I expect we're probably going to hear from those two tomorrow.
It's funny because Crowder was asking the other day if there was one of the two that was going to stay, who would it be? And I told him Gabe Vincent. And my rationale was he can kind of do more on the offensive end. Strus is more of a shooter. Gabe is their point guard. Yeah. He had a really good run for them. And I think, Max Strus is going to end up making more. And Crowder's like, but of all the things you just said, it sounds like Gabe's the better player. Why is Strus going to make more? And I feel like we all feel that way, right, Mike? Where Gabe Vincent isn't going to demand as much money on the open market as Max Strus. But now that I'm thinking about it, why? Is Gabe the better player? And you know what I mean? Like, why would it be Max Strus making more money on the open market just because he's a better shooter?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the deal Duncan Robinson got. If you can be a specialist and be that good at it, you're going to be a value commodity. And some teams, I think, just feel like, oh man, if only we had some 3-point shooting. If maybe we're just a shooter away. If you get a little bit more offensive depth there, I think teams value that. But I think for the Heat valuing Gabe more is maybe it does have to do with something like with the Lillard trade. If you have to get rid of, trade away a Kyle Lowry or a Tyler Hero, you're going to need depth at that position anyway. So, that's where that value may come from, at least from the Heat standpoint. And also the Heat have kind of been good at developing shooters historically. So yeah, I mean, I just think for teams, the reason why Strus might be a bigger commodity is just because if he is in fact the specialist they think he is, and teams feel they're a 3-point shooter away, then they're going to value that and go after him.
How do you handicap the Dame Lillard situation?
What do you mean handicap it?
You think he ends up with the Miami Heat? You think he ends up somewhere else? You think he stays in Portland? Like, how would you handicap it right now?
So if I'm looking at Portland's situation, and obviously they've got a couple good young pieces that they've drafted now, like he's going to be set to make $60-something million at the end of his deal if he stays there. I mean, to me, if they're not serious about adding pieces around him who can win now in like the 3 or 4 years left of this window they have on this contract, then why would Portland hold on to that. That's a lot of money. I mean, you're giving a guy $50-60 million a year. You could do a lot with that cash, and you've got now a young core you can try to build around. To me, I don't see why Portland isn't going to move him unless they go out and get someone they think in free agency who could put them over the edge right now, and they think they're gonna win now mode this thing in the few years he has left, because otherwise that is a hefty contract to keep on the books.
Yeah, but realistically, there's no maneuver Portland can make right now that has them contending with the Nuggets or what Phoenix has done right now, right, Mike? Like there's no realistic move there. But on the flip side, with the Heat, what is their plan B? Like, to you, what does plan B look like if it's not Damian Lillard? And if they're going to continue to ride it out and hope that maybe even into next season he tries to force his way out of Portland if he does end up staying, what, in your mind, does a plan B look like for Miami in terms of offseason moves?
I think they have to get size, but remember Pat Riley said that even subtle moves can make a huge difference. And look, he might be right. But I think what happens with Heat fans and their frustration in this scenario is if you look at the Heat and you take this team and you say, all right, we're going to make a couple moves here and there, it feels like you're bracing yourself for another regular season like they just had, where it was more frustrating than exciting at times. And the excitement came in the playoffs and like, oh, they put it together, right? So I think Heat fans are like I can, get on board with a year with the Heat if I'm a Heat fan, like struggling if you add Damian Lillard, because you're thinking, okay, they're working it out. He's new to the team. They're trying to make this work. So I can deal with some of the bumps along the way. But if you're running it back with this team, I think that's where Heat fans get nervous and say do something, because that was a tough regular season to go through and to be invested in, because you didn't know what team you were getting. I mean, even just look at the play-in game. You saw the play-in games, the two play-in games. You saw the regular season Heat team, and then you saw the postseason Heat team, in those two games. So I think that's why Heat fans really want to make the Damian Lillard or big splash along the way somewhere, make that work, because I just think the prospect of having to go through another year like that is kind of, not exciting in Heat fans' eyes.
What will the Cugnos be doing for 4th of July?
Oh God, I don't know yet. That's this week, right? I think I'm working.
Well, Tuesday is the 4th of July. A lot of people celebrate this weekend. Might take Monday off as well. They'll have Tuesday off.
See,
so you don't have any
4th of July.
You don't have any special plans this weekend?
No, changing diapers. Still, that's my special plan.
Will you go to like a municipal fireworks show, or your daughter's too young? It might be too scary.
No, in the neighborhood we live in, we do have a fireworks show. I honestly just cannot tell you right now whether it's going to be over the weekend or if it's going to be Tuesday, which I'm sure everyone will love in the middle of the night.
All right. Very good. What about the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? That's a tradition in my household. We watched that on Tuesday, the 4th of July from Coney Island.
Do you try to go dog for dog with that guy?
Oh, stop it.
You just sit there with a table and go, all right, let's go, buddy. Let's see who can win this and have
I'm one hot dog, and I'm good to go. One hot dog for me. I know you probably don't ever eat a hot dog because you're way too healthy. Will you watch, though? Does that interest you?
No, but I will eat a hot dog. No. It's the same thing every year. You're just watching these guys just shove wet hot dogs in their mouth, and that's not interesting. Yeah.
But you will eat a hot dog.
I'll eat a hot dog at a ballpark. It's got to have nothing on it. So,
what?
No ketchup, no mustard. You have just a plain hot dog.
A dry hot dog?
Yeah. They're not, first of all, they're not dry. They're in that tin foil. It keeps in some moisture, and you just take it down like 3 bites.
Mustard or sauerkraut or relish.
It doesn't. You yell to the hot dog guy, and he chucks it across 3 rows. You catch it, and you just eat it as is.
Oh. You choke on it.
Yeah, it feels like.
No, you wash it down with whatever you're drinking.
Right. You dip your fries in anything?
I'm a purist. No. You know what?
Really?
Barbecue sauce or Tabasco sauce, I'll throw on fries.
Huh.
Tabasco on fries?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tabasco pretty much goes on anything.
Right, but I
Yes,
mean,
it
who's
does.
putting Tabasco on French fries?
I don't want any judgment from the sun is out, brother. Okay, I don't want any judgment from you.
Hey, Mike, it's pouring in El Portal right now, by the way.
Hulk Hogan on the
Yeah,
weather.
I bet.
Sun is out, brother. All right. Mike Cugno, CBS 4. Have a great and safe 4th of July weekend. I know today's only Thursday, but, whatever. And we'll speak with you at some point next week. At some point next week, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know what our schedule is.
Lose my number. Did I say that out loud?
A great way to end an interview. I'm gonna start using that on when they book me, on some weird show in Toronto, during the Stanley Cup Finals, and you don't know the people. What a great way to end a segment. They go, and then again is Mark Hochman from WQAM. Thank you for joining us, Mark. All right, lose my number. That is funny, man. All right, see you, Mike.
Bye, guys.
Great end. All right, we got to take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more Hochman and Crowder.